Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1554, June 2nd, 2025. 93 degrees on this day in 1940. I hope the air was clear for them in 1940. And it was 35 degrees on the morning of this day in 1946. Call Josh at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation. Couldn't he make it 50 minutes?
That is the beauty.
Why is it 48 minutes?
Because you get it all.
What if I needed 2 more minutes?
What if we're done at 45?
Yeah, what if you're done at 45 minutes? Can you leave early?
I always finish early.
Thank you, Josh.
Oh boy.
Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you! And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Rook, I think it was you who said, maybe it wasn't, but I'm betting it was, who said a solo stove is okay to have a fire in the sustainable urban area because it doesn't emit any smoke.
That was me.
That was you? Mm-hmm. Scott Matura in Montana notes, firemen are amused at the notion that there is a belief that a fire created with no smoke is actually a thing. In other words,
it's so funny you guys talking about that stuff.
Yeah, they have smoke, Chris. You can't have a fire without smoke, can you?
Yep, you're right. Move on.
Oh, he's going to pout.
No, it's just
that's one we're getting today.
No, and I love Scott. No S. I'm saying that you have one.
I do.
The way it reduces the amount of smoke is amazing. It's the technology behind it.
I was standing in line at my NAC in Alexandria looking at one.
Yeah.
Tell me what happens to the smoke?
So you see the holes in the ring around the bottom of it? That's where the oxygen comes in. There's also the same amount of holes in the base of the inside of it. Yeah. And some way, it reduces the amount of smoke dramatically.
I agree with you. It does reduce the amount of smoke.
So I'm aware that a fire has smoke. I'm not a effing moron. I get that. I'm saying this type of device reduces the amount of smoke.
Someday we're going to get to the bullets in a fire discussion and what happens. But I have a feeling it's not going to be today, given the look on Joe's face right now.
Remember that story from late last week of the semi that overturned in the tunnel?
That's why I brought it up, and all the nonsense I've heard since then about bullets and all of that.
Well, is it true that it's illegal to haul bullets through the tunnel?
No.
That's what I read.
Yeah, well.
It's not true.
Whoever wrote that.
Okay, fine. We also talked about goulash, if you'll recall.
Yes.
We're getting right after it.
Listen, I have an obligation to the citizens of Gumption County to set things straight.
Especially when it's food-based.
Bert writes, okay, Mayor Goulash, if Granny Sodhut didn't use pasta in the goulash, what was in this alleged goulash? In truth, Hungarian goulash is more of a stew without noodles. That's the kind Granny Sodhut made. Whereas American goulash is more macaroni-based.
Okay.
There you go.
I can buy that. I'll take that.
Well, I never had any of this noodle stuff. We had the commie goulash. We had commie Hungarian goulash.
You realize that that's the very subject matter of one of my personal favorite moments in my time in the history of Garage Logic.
What
correct?
would that be?
We had a fill-in weatherman. I believe he is no longer with us. Rookie, you'll have to remind me. He was at the 5.
I do remember
He was
this.
filling in for Dave. He then, I think, went to the number 9. Great guy, but I believe he did sadly pass
Steve?
away. Steve, yes. You can look it up. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this about Joe. He doesn't have a lot of patience when it comes to things on the air.
Well, of course I do.
No,
sure,
yeah, you do.
None.
So anyway, so this poor guy, he was very excited to fill in for Dave and be on the Garage Logic radio show, legendary, AM 1500.
Yeah.
And Joe says, "Let's head to the Action 5 team weather report with Steve Frazier." And Steve responds with, "Hi, Joe, how are you?" "Good."
Okay.
And he goes, "Good. What would you like?" And Joe, you can tell the fire, the steaming in his ears. And he says, "I'd like your bleeping recipe for Hungarian goulash." And he said, "Okay." He's like, "No, can you just give me the weather?" The next report, he came in
He had
with
the recipe.
a recipe, I believe, was it from a grandmother?
I think.
It was, he handled it perfectly.
Yep.
It was fantastic. "I'd like your recipe for Hungarian goulash."
Has anybody been reading the last 3 days about our governor, Cockwomble, who's out on his tour?
He's having an adventure.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's went from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And he's positioning himself as apparently he believes he's the front runner for 2028. And the New York Times, of course, reports on him like he's a serious candidate.
Right.
They ignored the fact that the state of Minnesota is failing miserably, and it's his fault. And it turns out that an Alpha News reporter, are you getting ready for this, Reavers?
Yep.
An Alpha News reporter walked around Lake Harriet, I think yesterday, and it was a very crowded, as you can imagine, Lake Harriet yesterday. Beautiful day. Can you imagine how beautiful yesterday would have been without the Canadian fires?
Oh, stunning.
Because I'm
hot.
sure there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
I mean, there was
It would have been too hot.
Well, not for city dwellers. And in any way, she has the microphone, and it's typical man on the street stuff, but her question was all about Walz, and I think you can even see it when we play it. And it's just interesting, that's all. It's just interesting.
I'm Simone Harns with Alpha News. Today we are asking people about their thoughts on Governor Walz. Do they like his policies, and what are his biggest accomplishments? Here's what they have to say. Are you a fan of Governor Tim Walz?
Yes.
Why is that? What's his biggest accomplishment?
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised as his answer.
The free lunches at schools.
There's become a real villainization of our police force. I don't think that's fair.
I love Governor Tim Walz.
Okay, what's his biggest accomplishment?
Services for disabilities if he doesn't cut them this year.
What is something he has done that you don't appreciate?
I think handling of the George Floyd.
What has Governor Walz done that you do not appreciate?
Well, the lockdowns when we had COVID.
A couple of years ago, the whole party went crazy, spending way too much money, and now they're gonna have to cut back and deal with it.
Are you a fan of Governor Tim Walz?
Not particularly. And I'm a Democrat, but he's a little too liberal for me.
Trump recently, he has decided to cut taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. What's your take on that?
Just to do a basic cut across all of it it's just irresponsible.
What if I told you that that's actually Governor Walz who recently did that?
I saw that Governor Walz had to do some compromising and so on and so forth to see what's going on with this budget and all.
Trump recently decided to cut taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. What do you think about that?
I think that's wrong.
What if I told you that Governor Walz was actually the one to cut taxpayer-funded health care for
No, I did hear that.
And that's a matter of the budget. I heard that he has to do that.
Hey, what are your thoughts on Governor Tim Walz?
They're interviewing a dog.
Why don't you like him?
That's cute. That's fun. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your answers. Do you like Governor Walz's policy on free tampons in schools?
Oh, yeah. I just don't think that it's necessary or normal. They're for women only. Are you talking about in the boys' bathroom?
Correct.
Yeah. Because it's kind of obvious.
Trump recently has been called a fascist by Governor Walz. How do you feel about that?
I would agree with that. The whole January 6th thing, pardoning all those people who were convicted by the jury, and so they did not have to serve their term, that would be fascism.
He calls Trump a fascist. What do you think about this?
Probably an understatement.
Why is Trump not a fascist?
Because he's for all of the people. He's for all people.
What has he done that makes him for all of the people?
For one, no tax on tips. And he's working on reducing taxes for everyone. He's taking care of the border, which I knew he would do. And that's very important to me.
I don't disagree, but I don't think it's, what do I want to say, mature of any politician to call each other names.
Do you like that Governor Walz called Trump a fascist?
Yes, he is a fascist. I taught U.S. history and American government for 15 years. He is a fascist.
I think him saying something like that of our leader is dangerous. Our job is to help our people find common ground and how to follow well and then how to lead out in our own communities.
Well, I know what I take from that.
What do you take from it, Joe?
Minnesotans are hesitant to have strong opinions about things. Those were all very reasoned answers and hypocritical as hell.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay if it's bad if Trump does something. It's okay if Walz does something.
Because there's a different intent behind it, obviously. Right.
The whole Walz deal, am I missing something? What am I getting wrong? He shows no signs of stopping this tour on which he pats himself on the back and believes he is some sort of important male figure in the country that can redeem the Democratic Party. And he's telling people now to be meaner against the administration. And I don't know anyone who takes him seriously. Can he be that obtuse to believe that he is well regarded? I'm missing something.
Is he being strung along, Joe, by the party, or is somebody within the party encouraging him?
I think the party might be in such desperate straits that they actually believe that he's a better front man than, say, AOC.
Okay, then what he's doing, that something I really don't understand, is he's out on tour and he's slamming his own party.
Yeah.
He's yelling at the Democrats for mistakes they made and the direction they're going. That really seems ill-advisable to me. I mean, that's what's happening, or what did happen among the Republicans and conservatives.
I think he's positioning himself to suggest that had he more free reign in the campaign, they wouldn't have lost.
You know, it's ego-based then.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Joe. Yeah.
But why is he doing this? He's the governor of this state.
Which has no budget right now, and he's in the Carolinas and then in California.
Right.
I think Glenn is telling him, hey, you got a shot, big boy.
Somebody for sure is feeding that to him.
Yep.
Well, then I'm missing something. I realize that the electorate might not be as informed as it should be, but you're not informed enough to know that this guy's a complete cockwomble?
But could it be a positive thing in that, or a blessing in disguise, I should say, because he was never criticized outside of this show and some other outlets.
I know, I don't get
more
it.
than he ever was when he was running as the vice presidential nominee.
Look up cockwomble again for new listeners. I want to give the definition. They think that I might be using a profanity or what have you. It's an actual word.
Name and origin, please.
It's an actual word, and it just
Cockwomble.
suits him to a T. It was sent to us by an emailer.
This is from definitions.net. The dictionary... Okay. Now it just did a pop-up, so. Person, usually male, prone to making outrageously stupid statements and or inappropriate behavior while generally having a very high opinion of his own wisdom and importance.
Hey, you couldn't come up with a better definition
No, that's
for him.
spot on.
That's it.
Don't you think part of what's fueling him, though, I know he still polls really well here in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he just looks at that and goes, oh, yeah, people love
Hot dang, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I just pulled up another new poll from April, a Morning Consult Pro poll.
Is this a Minnesota poll?
No, it's a national poll.
National
Morning
poll,
Consult.
and they say what, John?
Shows 55% of Minnesota voters approve of Walz's job performance. Similar to, well, even 1 point higher than the 54% approval he got before the presidential race. And the KSTP poll from back in February is 52-44 approval.
Wow.
So does he just look at that and go,
Then you know what? Then we're the ones off track. We're off track. We're not appreciating his greatness. We're not appreciating his leadership abilities.
John,
we're not appreciating his fiduciary sense of refinement. We just don't appreciate
We don't get
the
it.
guy.
Wow.
We don't get it.
John, what were the numbers again?
The Morning Consult was 55 approve, higher than before the presidential election, which was 54%. The KSTP survey in February of this year, 52% approval, 44% disapproval.
Jesus.
To our listeners around the country and all ships at sea, and I think we're heard down in the Antarctic, and we're heard in Europe and
Anguilla.
I'm here to tell you, well, we're number one in Anguilla.
100%, baby.
I'm here to tell you, he's the worst governor in the history of the state of Minnesota. And he might be the worst governor. Well, he and Newsom are fighting for worst governor in the country.
Right.
And I think on this Western swing for the Walz show, he was ripping Newsom.
In California?
Yeah, he's really, really doing everything he can to position himself as the, and he uses words like dude, and he's really trying to be the male figure that he thinks constitutes a male figure in this country.
Is he pulling up to people's cars and saying, "Hey, I can change that air filter for you"?
And I've seen some things that I don't bring up because I don't know if it's AI or not. I just can't tell.
You mean on social?
Yeah. I just leave it alone because I have no idea if it's real or not.
Give me an example. Give me one example.
One of him dancing?
Yeah, that's AI.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
There's things like that. You hope it's real, but
Oh, absolutely, and it's all believable. But I won't go with it because I can't tell. For Pete's sake, I can't tell.
Kenny, wouldn't you love to see what Twitter has said as Joe's algorithms?
Oh God. Along those lines, there's about social media. There's so many things that happen on social media that you really, really want to be true. My big one is the kitty litter boxes in the bathrooms. Oh my God. When somebody told me that, I thought, this is a blessing from heaven. We are going to have so much fun with this. And I spent hours and hours and hours, and I got a hold of kids in high schools in the Twin Cities, and no, none of it's true. And we finally, me and another adult, decided that this was just kids in high school making crap up to mess with the adults.
Sure.
Hey, it worked. I want to read you something.
Okay.
This is, I follow a site called woodyboater.com. And it's a guy who's in the advertising business, Matt something, I don't know his last name. He's out in Virginia. And every day there's a publication from Woody Boater. And he is now on a crusade to wonder what's happening to the, and I'm going to link this to Walz. All right.
Here we go.
He's on a crusade now to wonder what is happening to both the collection of old boats and old cars. Where are the young people, right? And he said he's calling it the rise of the dopamine culture. And I think this is germane to what we're talking about. In a slow traditional culture, athletics, play a sport. Journalism, read newspapers. Video, film and TV. Music, albums. Images, view on gallery wall. Communication, handwritten letters. Relationships, courtship and marriage. The same things under fast modern culture. Athletics, watch a sport. Journalism, multimedia, video. Music, not albums, but tracks. Images, view on phone. Communication, view on phone. Relationships, sexual freedom. Then you go over to dopamine culture. Sports, gamble on a sport. Journalism, clickbait. Video is now short form reels. Music, TikToks. Images, scroll on phone. Communication, scroll on phone. Relationships, swipe on an app.
So the point there?
The point is that there's no attention span or deep-rooted knowledge of any American culture, tradition, or history. It's just instantaneous dopamine hits.
Immediate gratification.
Reavers.
Where the key to life is delayed gratification.
Right.
He's right. This is all right. Matt, you're right. Woody Boder. I've submitted stuff to Woody Boder, and he's printed it.
Oh, well.
So I feel pretty honored.
I wish I was there to pat you on the back.
Does that end with a question mark?
What?
Woody Boder?
No. I know what you're doing, Reavers, and I'm not going to entertain your sophomoric foolishness.
The answer, Chris, is duh.
I'm a guy.
Well, to finish the thought, I want to live where this guy lives.
Sure.
It's Reedville, Virginia.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
And every photo of his property is so intriguing. His access to water is incredible. He's on the water.
You and our mutual friend Tom, I've had this discussion with you guys many, many times about how the old guys are dying off and there's no young kids to take over the boats, the motorcycles, the cars, et cetera, et cetera. Fellas, this stuff costs money, a lot of money. The reason why middle-aged guys buy a Corvette, it has nothing to do with trying to relive their youth or
they finally got the money.
The size of their swimsuit area. They've loved Corvettes since they were 10. Now they're 55. They finally have the money.
Yeah. Well, this guy has a few twists and turns on water to the Chesapeake Bay. And then, obviously, the Atlantic Ocean, we call it. It's just neat. Anyway,
Salt.
I think he's onto something there. We live in a dopamine culture. Ain't going to get none of that with precision garage door. A garage door is a functional, integral part of the house. It has nothing to do with TikTok or scrolling on the phone. There it is. It's a garage door. It needs to work. Boom, up and down. They fix it. And if you need a new door, Precision Door MN, which serves western Wisconsin and the entire metro, they have models of new doors for every budget. They send out a garage door designer for a free sit down and chat. You don't have to bring the garage to them. You can go online and book a Precision Door appointment at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Imagine the possibilities with ProfessionalTurf.com. I was chatting with a ProfessionalTurf.com irrigation specialist over the weekend. Here's what we came up with. You could have ProTurf wake up your lawn irrigation system. You could have ProTurf treat your lawn with weed killer and fertilizer. And you could have ProTurf install a brand new amazing outdoor environment that will make you royalty in your neighborhood. And after having the best lawn in the neighborhood all season long, that irrigation guy is going to come back and put that irrigation system to bed for you in the fall. As for these lawn treatments, boy, oh boy, more and more GLers do it every spring and see the results and then wonder why they didn't do it years ago. I understand. I've been there. Click that link, that professionalturf.com. And ProTurf is going to send out an experienced service tech that'll assess the situation and then customize the slow-release fertilizer and weed control plan that both environmentally safe and guaranteed for superior results. Get on the website, check them out, and then schedule that free estimate, professionalturf.com.
We have long advocated on this show pushing back in a variety of ways, in a variety of environments, pushing back against what you think is wrong politically, pushing back on what you think is wrong educationally. There's a lot to push back as the mystery takes hold. Here's proof of why pushing back actually can accomplish something. The San Francisco Unified School District announced plans recently to essentially abandon grading. And they were going to allow students to take a final exam, for example, multiple times. They were going to eliminate homework and weekly tests. And they were going to suggest that tests not impact a grade. Late assignments turned in would not impact a grade. Tardiness to class or absence from school would not impact a grade. And they would just completely undo the letter grade system because why? Well, because it's the hot burning coal of the mystery. It's unfair that some students get it and some don't. It's just
I got a D+, but I earned it.
Right. This is an equity. This is the E in the DEI movement. And it should not exist. But there was such pushback that the residents of the San Francisco Unified School District, whether they knew it or not, were pouring water on the hot burning coal of the mystery, which is American life is unfair. And we're here to create an equitable situation. But they're now going to put a pause on pursuing the grading for equity strategy after receiving major backlash from community members and politicians.
Good.
That's what you have to do. You got to turn out.
It's a ray of hope that they're listening to them.
Because, again, all that's doing is making so-called marginalized students less than. They're just assuming those kids can't do anything, which is absolute BS. Cruelty on the part of these activists, cruelty on the part of these teachers and school board authorities and what have you. So there you have it. Push back. They're not going to do that now. Mm-hmm. Now, they'll keep trying.
Have you seen how that attitude affects marketplaces and business places? We've got kids in their 20s now that will get a job, any job, and then, after being there a month or two, they have at least 3 no-shows where they don't even bother to call. And so they get drug into the HR office, and Matthew, you could probably attest to this, and they get let go for obvious reasons, and they are outraged that they're being fired for no-showing and not even calling. And that's what we're brewing in this country right now.
Entitlement.
Yep.
But can you imagine, in the name of equity, as though that's a good thing, the kids would have had virtually nothing expected of them. Because accomplishment and achievement are merely a patriarchal construction. It's flawed from the beginning. It shouldn't exist. So, again, there's a big bonus in store for you if you can get Jason Chavez in here.
Working on it. Actually, I think we have some inroads.
Because I just want to, if that's your goal of the mystery, is to undo competitiveness and achievement and replace it with everyone's the same, what world do you envision? What do you want? Who is going to produce the goods and services that everyone would need to live? Who's going to do that? I can't understand what at the core of the mystery. I can't imagine I'll use a Walz word, they're so obtuse that they can't see the ruination in that. But they must. In any event, the parents in San Francisco and some politicians, they pushed back. They put their foot down, and the San Francisco school district had to back off.
I think,
but don't let up. Go, John.
Also, there's a ray of hope in this. In that, I'm reading the story from KFox, which is the local San Francisco Fox.
Yeah,
it's a bipartisan pushback.
That's wonderful.
U.S. Representative Ro Khanna, I looked him up. He's pretty liberal.
Yep.
He immediately came out against it.
Wonderful.
And then he was joined by Kevin Kiley, who's a vocal member of California's Republican congressional delegation, to complain about it. And then San Francisco's mayor came out against it, Daniel Lurie, who is a Democrat, considered a moderate. So, maybe it's a ray of hope that both sides are saying, hey, wait a minute.
Well, it actually is a ray of hope. You can't have a functioning society. You cannot have a functioning society with that kind of program in place. I think there's a name for the program. Grading for Equity, it's called.
Yeah, they need to learn that life is going to punch them right in the face multiple times.
And the mystery presumes that they can create a world in which that would not be the case.
What is the old phrase? In school, you're taught lessons and given a test. In real life, you're given a test, and from that test, you learn a lesson.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard that before, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
But just amazing to me that you would have grade for equity. And this all comes from administrations which, the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, are extraordinarily expensive and extraordinarily top-heavy.
And just think, then you can work that hard, get all the way through, get that degree, go to your graduation, and get shot.
Now
we have an insider. Yeah. We have a GLer that's very close to us that was there.
You're kidding?
Yeah, and I would love if we could talk to her. I have her
why
phone number.
Why don't we tell listeners what we're talking about? I believe it was over the weekend. Wayzata High School held a graduation in Mariucci Arena, and outside the arena there was some shooting. But did the shooting have anything to do with the graduation? I don't think so.
I haven't heard, so I'm not going to say.
John, do you know?
From what I've seen, they don't know. They're still investigating.
Because the people shooting were in their 20s.
Right.
I don't. Now, we did have quite a gunplay at the OK Corral yesterday in Boom Island Park.
Yeah.
Which O'Hara said looked like a war zone with all the shells on the ground.
Yeah.
But I don't think the shooting at the Mariucci had anything to do with the kids inside. I don't know. Wayzata is you're eating cake in Wayzata. I mean, it's Wayzata,
But I said this last week. The problem is it decorum? Would that be the right word? At formal,
they don't exist.
They don't exist anymore.
I told you what I experienced, and it worked. It must have been reverse psychology because it was announced that you may applaud after each student, and it was very polite and brief. It worked. I don't get it. I don't believe how it worked. Because in previous graduations, like when Rookie's kid was there, Rookie was the loudest and most obnoxious person there because we were instructed not to say anything until all kids were done. But, of course, Rookie couldn't do that.
Nice going, Gabe.
You didn't say that. You were screaming something.
I was in church, so it was all clean.
Well, no, I'm not suggesting you were swearing.
No, but I gave him a shout out.
Yeah. Against the law. You were against the law. You should have been in high school graduation jail.
And now they just do it.
They just do it.
Let me ask you a question about the way that this person, and I'm talking about the Wayzata story, was identified. Because certain outlets neglected to include the name and the photo. Is that a processing charges philosophy? Is that how that works? And I'm talking just journalistically.
You talking about the person arrested?
Correct.
Oh, I didn't know.
I thought I saw a picture and a name.
That's what I'm saying, but it wasn't. For instance, because I was looking for the story, obviously. And the first publication I saw, and I'm not singling out the Star Tribune, but that's the first one I saw, did not identify the shooter right away.
The Star Tribune has a policy until charges are filed.
That's what I'm asking.
They will not identify.
That's what I'm asking.
And no charges have been filed according to the story I'm reading on KSTP.
Got it.
Who
Okay.
did not identify the person.
Maybe I saw it on TV news. Because I saw a picture and a name.
Okay, that's what my question is. Is there a policy for that very thing? Because you would think you would like to know the name and the identity of a shooter at a situation like that. So that was my journalistic question.
Would you like to bring Mr. Hyde aboard?
I would.
All right.
But you know what I'd like to do first?
Talk to me, Goose.
I'd like to talk about my friends at North American Banking Company. You see, the thing
Are you
is...
going to talk slowly?
Joe, I'm going to talk so slow that by the time you get up and do your stretches and come back, I'm still going to be talking about how great North American Banking Company is. You see, the thing is, they've been doing it since 1998, and they had one simple philosophy when they started this operation back in 1998, and that's this. It's banking done differently. And you get that feeling anytime that you walk in any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. It does not matter. Whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove, you get that feeling each and every single time. And that's because they want to get to know you. They want to know your family, and they want to know your business if you decide to take your business banking to North American Banking Company. And they offer all of the services as the other big national banks, whether you're looking to buy a home, finance a new home renovation project, or maybe get that new car that you've been dreaming about, like Kenny was mentioning earlier. My friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And they are also locally owned and operated. And here's why that's important. That means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps you business owners solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence. They deal with numbers every single day, but you are never going to be one of them. So check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Anybody but myself, because no one hates me more than me.
Yeah, don't be so
That's
sure.
a good
of that.
attitude.
Don't be so sure of that, Chris.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Here's
Young,
John.
hardworking American showed up at my doorstep on Friday night with a case of oil, an oil filter, and a bunch of other stuff for his truck that he was going to work on in my shop over the weekend. And that's fine, but I couldn't get past his windshield. Oh, my heavens. I don't think I have ever seen a windshield as destroyed as his was by bugs. My Lord. My Lanta, as they say. So he had that thing in the shop, dropped the oil, put the new stuff in, no problem. I dumped a can of Seafoam down his, I was going to say something really rude, into his gas tank. There we go. When he wasn't looking, and he got out of the back seat. Like I tell everybody, he got out, the bugs be gone. And we did a fun test. He did half of the windshield, and then we took a picture. It's just ridiculous. And by this test, all he did was spray it down, wait 5 minutes, and then he got out the squeegee, and we washed them all off. Everything was fine. And I'm happy to say he also, in the back seat, had a can of Deep Creep. So he has the GLer's kit right there in his Silverado, the engine treatment, the Deep Creep, and the bugs be gone. That's all we need. And you know what? I've been telling everybody to buy maybe a one spray bottle of Bugs Be Gone. No, just buy 6. You're going to need them throughout the summer. You're going to love Bugs Be Gone. It's a true miracle. Takes all the hassles out of cleaning your windshield. You'll find them everywhere that fine automotive chemicals are sold. Big box, small box, Knack Hardware, auto parts stores. They're everywhere. Seafoam, our own local company with a global reach. We love these guys, Seafoam.
Here's John Hyde in his Garage Logic newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This update brought to you by North American Banking Company. I just have to mention this because I looked at that story about the San Francisco grading thing.
Yes.
You could have gotten a 41% on a test and gotten a C.
That's right.
41%.
Wow, my timing was off.
Exactly.
Matt, I worked hard for my D+. I mean, really hard.
Right. In news, Minneapolis police, Joe, you mentioned this, are investigating a shooting late Sunday night at Boom Island Park that has left a woman dead and 5 others hurt, as well as a 6th person who was injured in the chaos after the shooting. Police Chief Brian O'Hara spoke this morning to the press, saying officers were first called to the park around 9:30 in the evening for shots being fired. However, that was upgraded to a shooting. By the time officers got there, they said there were at least 100 people in the park. 3 victims found at the scene, another in a vehicle at the park's entrance. One of the victims at the scene, a woman, died at Hennepin Healthcare. The other victims found at the park were all men. Chief O'Hara says one of those men has life-threatening injuries. The other 2, as well as another 2 men who were dropped off at area hospitals, have non-life-threatening injuries. Another woman was injured at the scene following the shooting's aftermath, with Chief O'Hara saying she may have also been knocked unconscious. O'Hara said there were hundreds of pieces of evidence. There may have been a large event going on at the time of the shooting. O'Hara said, quote, "It's more akin to a war zone that the amount of shell casings the officers are recovering here than something that you would find in a park. It's sickening." As of this time, no details have been provided about the suspect. However, the chief said there may be more than one shooter, and investigators are following up on several leads. He said anyone who has info on the shooting is asked to come forward by calling either Minneapolis investigators or Crime Stoppers. Follow up to the other story we talked about. 2 victims who were shot outside Mariucci Arena on the University of Minnesota campus following a Wayzata High School graduation ceremony have now been released from the hospital. The shooting following the graduation, police said a 19-year-old man and 49-year-old man shot outside Mariucci around 8:20 Friday night. A gunman was arrested. Police did not disclose the motive behind the shooting, and it's not clear if the victims were targeted or just bystanders. The alleged gunman has also not yet been identified and hasn't been charged. In an update yesterday, University of Minnesota police said the victims had both been released from the hospital. In a message to parents, Wayzata officials said one of the victims was the parent of a graduate. Superintendent Chase Anderson dispelled rumors he said were circulating online, explaining investigators, quote, have not been able to confirm any connection between the shooter or the second victim and our graduation ceremony.
Do any schools left in the state of Minnesota? Are there any schools left in the state of Minnesota that hold the graduation at the school?
I was in my hometown yesterday,
which is Faribault,
and because we had a home baseball game, and they didn't hold it at school, but for the first time in 20 years, they held it at the football stadium.
Well, isn't that part of school?
No, it's not near the school, but that was the first, which I found a little surprising and cool. By the way, I thought that was great.
Well, I want them held at the school.
That's what I thought, because Wayzata's got a gigantic gymnasium.
Apparently, there's too many friends and relatives that show up.
Thousands of state employees will be driving into the office this week as a revised policy about returning to the office for work takes effect. At the same time, some of those workers are getting layoff notices because lawmakers haven't been able to finish the state budget. The updated policy requires about 15,000 remote state employees to be in the office at least 50% of the time. Business owners around St. Paul say they're looking forward to some increased foot traffic, and they hope that more workers downtown will mean more profits. There has been some pushback to the return to the office, including from 2 major state worker unions who rallied against the move that was announced by Governor Walz this past spring. Now some of those employees are expected to be getting layoff notices because state lawmakers haven't passed that new budget, meaning the workers could be temporarily forced off the job and not paid till the budget is signed. If there's still no deal, non-essential government services shut down on July 1st, 2025.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Seth Kaplan, I believe Seth works for Fox 9. Mm-hmm. Back to the shooting story. Hamza Saeed, 20 years old, has been charged. This is 23 minutes ago.
Gotcha.
Has been charged in the shooting that took place outside Mariucci after Wayzata's graduation. A 49-year-old man, as John mentioned, told police he was standing with his family after the ceremony when he was shot. He saw a group of people fighting/arguing behind him, then heard gunshots and started to run. And there was also I believe this is connected, or not connected, but another story at St. Cloud Tech High School graduation ceremony where there was massive fighting. And I don't know if there was a gunshot at that one as well, but that was St. Cloud Tech over the weekend as well.
Testimony resumed this morning in the trial of 29-year-old Derek Thompson, accused of killing 5 young women in a crash nearly 2 years ago after he was being pursued by police. He is charged with multiple counts of criminal vehicular homicide, 5 counts of third-degree murder, accused of killing 5 young women in that crash back in the courtroom. The trial is expected to stretch through the week and possibly into next week. Thompson has previously pleaded not guilty to the state charges. He's already been found guilty on federal charges related to guns and drugs that were found inside his SUV after the crash.
If I was trying that idiot, the trial would have taken 5 minutes. So there.
All right. You would have made up your mind is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I'd be very judgmental.
Got it.
Yeah.
And the Minnesota State Patrol is investigating how multiple cows ended up on a highway in Fillmore County and were hit by a semi-truck.
I always like to know that. I'd like to know why the cows were on the highway.
They get out. There you go.
Yeah.
They get out.
The cows got out.
The cows got out. Yeah.
According to the State Patrol, the incident unfolded around 4:26 in the morning near Fountain Township in Fillmore County, where a Volvo semi was traveling west. The semi unexpectedly then collided with 11 cows that were on the road. 10 bovines. I love that word. 10 bovines were killed, while 1 survived with injuries. The driver of the semi, a 52-year-old man, sustained non-life-threatening injuries, taken to the hospital. State Patrol says the investigation into that crash will continue.
Years ago, a cow got loose on 694 in Oakdale.
I remember that.
And we interviewed the cow. We got a microphone.
What a get!
What to the cow, and
oddly enough,
because it really commanded the attention of the Twin Cities. It was quite a festive because of one cow. So and it
was on the loose,
and it got out. It got out, and we interviewed the cow.
I also remember interviewing a guy from England, Greg.
He
the cow popped or blew up? Or?
It blew up and got all over him.
Exploding cow.
That's right.
Exploding cow.
A cow's brain is, Joe, about this size.
Yeah, they're not.
This is the size of a cow's brain.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes cows have to be stabbed to let the gas out of them.
Oh, yeah. They're bloated.
Yeah. You got to do something. You got to.
Is that harmful to mother? The gas.
It's a lot of methane, Chris, but I think we're okay.
God, it's so fun listening to you guys talk about
Kenny,
farm stuff. I was on the way into town a couple of weeks ago, Joe, and Dennis's bull got out, and it was standing next to the fence trying to get in. The thing is so damn dumb.
Did you let it in?
So I went down the driveway, and there's Dennis, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, "Your bull's out again, Dennis." He says, let's go. Yeah. So we both went up to the highway, and he opened the gate, and I ran. This is what I did.
Like a bullfighter.
Yeah. And Dennis eased him in. Dennis didn't even get out of his side-by-side. He just eased him right back into the gate. Everything was fine.
That's fine.
Remember the one time you did the story about the cows eating in the shape of the cross?
Yeah.
Only to realize the farmer laid out the feed.
Yeah, that had me going, man. I thought that had to be aliens.
There should be in the GL book a chapter devoted to your rural stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because the tassels and the non-tasseling and the tasseling, that was fun. I love that discussion.
Little top gets pulled off the little hat.
I mean, you could have an entire chapter just devoted to...
Here's today's State Fair animal.
Love those animals. Doris,
we would have to have Doris.
That's our Doris.
Why don't we take a quick break here and come back with national and international news after we hear from the Rookster.
Absolutely no clever segue here. I'm just going to jump right into Minnesota Freemasons. For a long time here on GL, I've been sharing you great things that Minnesota Freemasons are doing. Big things like donating over $6 million annually to support cancer research, aging studies, children's communication disorders, and of course those scholarships that I've talked about to those dozens of high school students every year. More than 8,000 Freemasons are in Minnesota, and they're working together to make the world a better place by focusing on the core values of friendship, personal development, helping those in need. Minnesota's Freemasons are always also helping mentor the next generation with a really exciting initiative called the Civility Project. The Civility Project is a series of events throughout Minnesota, and it's designed to engage the younger generation, teach them about the significance of decorum, kindness, civility in today's society, the kind of stuff we talk about in GL here. This project emphasizes values that are more important now than ever, putting down the phones, making genuine eye contact, and learning to walk alongside those who may see the world a little bit differently. Just another example of Freemasonry at work. There's going to be a couple events in Farmington and Red Wing. We'll tell you all about that when the next civility project will be. If you'd like to learn more, then go to mnfreemasons.org to learn more about Freemasonry and the Civility Project.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
I think you should make a move to Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. Got a great email. Let me just pull it up here. Give me a second, Joe. Thank you for your patience. This one comes to us from Josh. Hey, Raves. On our way to Grand Rapids from Bemidji, we stopped into Masters Maples and met with Ben, and he was very accommodating, explaining his products and what makes them different from store-bought brands. Walked out with 4 bottles of the bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup and both the sweet and savory seasonings. He also has his Garage Logic flag proudly displayed. Nice. This stuff is pure gold. I will never waste my money on any syrup other than this again. Josh, what a great email. Thank you for stopping and supporting our buddy Ben and Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. But you know what? You don't have to drive all the way up there to go visit Masters Maples. You can just go to the website and order your products right there. And here's the neat thing. Ben's got himself a pretty cool website that's got a bunch of different recipes. So if you're looking for, maybe a little inspiration on what to do, he's got recipes for burgers, pork chops, steaks, salmon, anything that you're looking for is online at mastersmaples.com. So sign up for that newsletter. It's really cool. It's called Tapped In.
Hey!
And Ben's a GLer, and he is the brains behind Masters Maples at mastersmaples.com. So support him and support the product, and you can find it online, like I said, at mastersmaples.com. Johnny Height.
Thank you, Chris. In national and international news, military websites are calling it Russia's Pearl Harbor. Ukraine managed to smuggle 117 aerial drones on the backs of trucks and deposited them at the perimeter of 4 Russian air bases, one of them deep inside Siberia, about 2,500 miles from Ukraine's borders. Well, there are differing accounts on the extent of the ensuing damage of Sunday's spiderweb operation. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said 40 Russian aircraft, a little over a third of Russia's strategic cruise missile carriers, were hit. Ukraine's security service, the SBU, put the estimated cost to the Kremlin at $7 billion. It came Sunday, a day before the latest round of direct peace talks between Ukraine and Russia were scheduled to be held today. They did hold those peace talks, but they met only for about an hour. There actually wasn't much optimism going into that meeting because Ukraine was sending its top defense minister, Rustem Umerov, but Russia only sending a minor junior Putin aide, Vladimir Medinsky, in Istanbul. More than 50 people killed, scores wounded Sunday after an attack near a food aid distribution center in the Gaza Strip, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry and multiple witnesses. The Israeli military denying claims that its soldiers were involved. Israel's military said in a statement that its forces did not fire at civilians near or within the site, citing an initial inquiry.
Candy, did you read that Greta Thunberg is going to settle it?
Oh, it's so fun. Her and a bunch of hippies are getting on their hippie boat.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to sail right in and save all of Gaza.
Well, I'm rooting for her. I hope that happens.
Yeah, she is not a smart person, and I can't believe that the world is still allowing her to just shoot her stupid, uninformed mouth off everywhere and anywhere she goes. Are we doing this because she's got the,
Well, she has the right ideas for the mystery. Yeah.
In Colorado, now there's some new info here, so you'll excuse me if I hop around a bit here. 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon now has been charged with a federal hate crime, despite no one dying in an attack yesterday where he threw Molotov cocktails. He could also be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Solomon's an Egyptian man. He told investigators he had planned the attack for a year. That's according to the federal criminal complaint that said the suspect arrived at the gathering about 5 minutes before it started. He told investigators he looked up videos on how to make Molotov cocktails on YouTube, purchased the items he needed to make them. He's accused of throwing 2 of them at the participants in the rally that was being held while yelling, "Free Palestine." According to the complaint, a black plastic container with a yellow top was found near where he was arrested. That container contained at least 14 unlit Molotov cocktails. All this happened, as I said, in Colorado and Boulder County. And what we know about the man, Solomon, he arrived in the United States from Egypt in August of 2022, but overstayed his initial tourist visa, was ultimately given a 2-year work permit, which he also overstayed, according to DHS sources.
So he was here illegally.
Correct. He was here illegally. Some of this was caught on tape, not the attack itself, but the aftermath, where he was walking around with no shirt on because apparently his shirt had also caught fire during all this. He took it off and was walking around with a Molotov cocktail in his hand before police got there.
He didn't look terribly fit.
How does violence in the United States help the situation in Gaza?
It doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I'm not here to try to tell anybody how to run their business, and I'm a big fan and I'm a huge fan of YouTube. In fact, go find us online right now at YouTube, where you can watch this show live. Why does YouTube have videos of how to make a Molotov cocktail?
I think they have videos of anything you can imagine.
But if you say certain words, you get flagged in your videos.
Thank you. That's exactly where I was going.
Death or suicide or gun.
We've had videos flagged because Joe said something that wasn't even remotely controversial. I'm thinking, wait a minute here. Let me check this out.
It's a keyword. Yeah. Yep.
Trump administration confirming it had sent Iran a nuclear deal proposal, the details of which were not publicly disclosed. That news comes after a UN watchdog report was leaked over the weekend, finding Iran had conducted several uranium enrichment activities in 3 previously undisclosed facilities. The report found Iran possesses 400 kilograms of uranium at 60% purity, significantly above levels for civilian purposes and enough to build 10 nuclear weapons, if enriched to 90% purity, a step that would take less than 2 weeks. A bomb, after that, would take months to build. The international.
What, John?
Excuse me?
I noticed as soon as
what did John just say? He said a bomb.
I was going to go back and correct it, but I thought maybe nobody would notice.
No, believe me. We're already getting emails.
And you were so cured.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, which has monitored Iran since the early 2000s, did not find evidence that Iran's program has slowed since restarting negotiations with the U.S. in April. Instead, Iran's stockpile has amassed the equivalent of 1 nuclear bomb per month for the past 3 months. President Trump sharing a bizarre conspiracy theory on social media Saturday night, saying former President Joseph Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced by a robotic clone.
Come on.
That's awesome.
At least that would explain something.
You know what? It all makes sense now.
Trump reposted a fringe rant that another user had made on the president's social media platform, Truth Social, just after 10 o'clock Saturday night. White House did not respond to requests for comment on the post about Biden. Trump's repost of the robot conspiracy theory came a day after Biden told reporters he was feeling good after beginning treatment for his aggressive form of prostate cancer. On Friday, President Trump was asked about Biden's aggressive cancer and responded with, "If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious." Those comments come just days after Trump called Biden scum and shared social media comments that referred to the former president as a decrepit corpse.
Trump's a teetotaler. He should absolutely drink, because then he'd be asleep.
Yeah.
He'd be asleep and he wouldn't be able to tweet this stuff. Who executed him, I wonder? Did he say?
He didn't say. He just retweeted.
What I love about when he says that stuff is how you two always bite so hard on that hook, and you take off running. You run all the line out of the spool. You're so excited by it. I guarantee you, he's sitting at home, whoever's sitting next to him, giving him the elbow, going, "Watch this. I'm going to tweet this BS. Now watch the reaction."
I don't really think that Biden was executed. I'm not really running with it.
Kenny, I understand.
Who does?
I understand what you're doing, Kenny, but
I'm not even upset. I just wish he'd drink.
Why is your forehead all scrunched up, and why are you?
Because he's old.
This goddamn guy. Why does he do all?
I don't think I did any of that.
And he's just having fun with y'all.
Kenny, I'm only going to defend Joe and Johnny this way. No one takes that hook and runs with it more than Patrick.
Oh, yeah. He's so fun. He's so fun. He really should come back to Twitter.
I understand what you're doing, Kenny, on two respects here.
Yeah.
But this could warrant a half-hour conversation that would be serious. Where?
We're not going to do that.
We don't want to do that.
It's serious.
It's not the place for serious discussion.
Okay. Some 17,000 people have been evacuated at the Canadian province of Manitoba as those fast-moving wildfires move across parts of the country, and we're seeing some of that here because
Flin Flon, John. Flin Flon has been totally evacuated.
Flin Flon.
Yeah, I
the
love
military.
that name.
A military aircraft and helicopters have been used to evacuate some residents in remote areas as firefighters face growing flames. Hot and dry weather expected in the coming days. Dense smoke from the fires, of which, according to officials, there are more than 188 burning right now. Yikes. A widely anticipated, we talked about this, Friday? Widely anticipated list of sanctuary jurisdictions no longer appears on the Department of Homeland Security's website after receiving widespread criticism for including localities that have actively supported the Trump administration's hardline immigration policies. The department's last week published the list of jurisdictions. It said each one would get formal notification the government deemed them uncooperative with federal immigration enforcement and whether they believed to be in violation of any federal criminal statutes. The list was published Thursday on the department's website, but on Sunday, there was a page not found error message in its place. Numerous sheriffs, even some in Minnesota, said they're not sure why they're on that list.
John, thank you so much.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Joe,
Rookie's got some exciting news coming up here right now.
I do. This is hot off the press. Hey, local business owners, if you want to get your name in front of the GL network of the podcast, Garage Logic Weekly Scramble, Krabby Coffee Shop, Monday Night Sports Talk, and Mishki. We're hosting a summer online auction in a couple of weeks. Perfect way for you to get involved. Just provide a product, a service, or a gift card, and we'll put it up for auction to our listeners and our viewers. If your item sells, you'll receive trade advertising equal to the full value of what was sold. That just means more exposure for your business without spending a dime out of pocket. Just trading items for advertising. It's easy, it's fun, and it's a win-win for everyone. Now, if you want to get more information, because this is brand new, go to garagelogic.com before Friday, June 6th. Enter keyword partner, submit the form, and we'll get back to you. And don't miss out. Join the Pick One Garage Logic Weekly Scramble Krabby Coffee Show online summer auction today. That was a cold read, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why you're a professional.
I know I am.
You hear more about that auction?
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
I know it never happens. What the activists want us to believe, that a trans athlete, there are so few of them. It just never happens. Well, but it happened again.
Where?
I guess Champlain Park High School is heading to the state softball tournament, I believe for the first time, after shutting out defending state champions in back-to-back games behind the arm of junior pitcher Marissa Rothenberger. It's a he, but it's a girl, whatever, pitched 14 straight innings. I'm friends of a family who have a daughter who is a very good high school softball player, and the daughter has reportedly told her parents, I don't think I could hit that kid.
My niece plays for the Egan varsity team, and they play Champlain on Tuesday in Mankato. But my sister has seen this person pitch.
I guess it's fantastic.
Okay.
Go to Oklahoma State. Maybe they'll let you in. The Champlain Park will open tournament play tomorrow in the quarterfinals. Is that when they play your kids?
Yes. Yeah.
At Caswell Park in Mankato.
Go Izzy.
The Champlain Park team is 21-2. They defeated Rogers 1-0 Thursday in the 4A Section 5 championship, completing a 14-inning shutout stretch in back-to-back games this week that sent, what did it send? Shockwaves through Minnesota high school athletics and social media. The Star Tribune posted a story with a photo of Rothenberger running with a sub-headline praising a superb pitching performance from junior Marissa Rothenberger, because it's on the paper's template and agenda to be pro-trans, so they're not going to say anything.
Right.
They made no mention of Rothenberger's reported status as a male, the very issue fueling statewide controversy. And then that didn't even show up on the paper's social media later. Court records show, this is Alpha News because the regular papers aren't going to cover this. Court records show that Rothenberger's legal name and sex were changed in 2017 when the athlete was just 9. Okay, I think I can solve this. I'm stealing this from a friend of mine. You can't do anything in this country till you're 18. You can't vote. You can't have a beer. You can't serve. You can't do anything.
Right.
Sure. Yep.
Well, wait till you're 18 and do this.
Yeah.
Why are you letting little kids do this?
Why are they seemingly forcing it on little kids?
If Marissa, what the hell's her name? Marissa Rothenberger might have been, Bob. I don't know. Well, Bob, you got to wait till you're 18. Why doesn't that solve it?
Yes. For me, I would say 100%.
Wait till you're 18. If you still want to be Marissa, go for it.
You'll never hear me disagree with that.
As previously reported, the Hennepin County District Court granted a petition filed by Rothenberger's mom changing the name from Charlie Dean, I guess Dean would have been the middle name, to Marissa, and the sex designation to female. And then Rothenberger led Champlain Park's dominant run. I don't understand why that should be. That's not fair to women athletes. Walz, by the way, is making that a very significant part of his vaudevillian tour. He said, I'm never going to be one to throw a trans child under the bus. This kid could lift the bus. Alpha News reported earlier this month that Elias Defending Freedom filed a federal lawsuit in U.S. District Court on behalf of 3 high school girls accusing Keith Ellison, the State High School League, and other officials of violating Title IX. That's another great question. What good now is Title IX?
Exactly.
What's the point of it?
What is
everybody
the point?
fought so hard for it.
It's stupid.
I was a sports writer at the very heart of the Title IX debates. They were hard-earned. Title IX was hard-earned. But now Minnesota, led by Cockwomble, is failing its female athletes. It's not fair. This kid I'm talking about, this daughter of a friend of mine, the kid's a really good softball player. Takes it seriously.
Yeah.
Knows the game. Can't hit this person any more than she could hit Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei.
Whatever his name is.
Oh, hey, Shohei.
Hey.
Or as a local Twin Cities radio personality called him, Shawai Owatnai.
Oh. Was that me?
No.
Could have been me.
Not affiliated with Hubbard Broadcasting.
All right, good.
Shawai Owatnai?
That's what the boys that I know call him.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Anyway, Champlain Park probably will win the state term. Wait a minute. There's so many questions here. Do you mean to tell me?
Break it down.
That the same pitcher can pitch in 2 straight games?
All right, let me break it on down for you.
Yes.
So it's different because the throwing motion is you're basically winding up backwards.
I understand,
but it's
Chris.
Your rotator.
It's underhanded.
But you aren't putting the duress on your rotator cuff like you are when you pitch in baseball.
But answer my question.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, you didn't answer his question.
So the same pitcher in a girls' high school situation can pitch 2 games in a row.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if they're separated by 10 minutes.
Sure.
I'll be dipped.
So are there relief pitchers?
Oh, yeah. And in fact, I know of a young woman. I'm not going to name her because I don't want to indict her with this story, but she's very good, and she'll probably pitch multiple games in multiple days.
What pride can Marissa take from this?
Well, none. It's a joke. It's laughable. This whole thing is a joke.
Are there
and these parents need to be embarrassed.
Stop being serious. I have dumb questions for you guys.
Yeah.
Are the relief pitchers as good as the starting pitchers, or are we just going down the line, down the bench, and by the time you get to the third relief pitcher, your mom could just as well be out there throwing white bread?
Are you talking baseball?
No, softball.
Normally, your best pitcher is going to start. And then you'll
then it just
work your
kind
way
of
down the
drops
line.
down.
Yeah.
All right.
There is no pitch limit either, I'm being told.
Right.
Well, then, if you're a betting man, you'd put some money on Champlain Park to win the state tournament.
Or
they got the secret weapon.
Or Izzy Williams hits a home run.
Who's Izzy play for?
Or Anderson. Anderson. Williams is my brother.
How fast are these balls coming over
plays for
the
Egan.
Oh,
plate?
200 miles an hour.
I know
they're solid.
The gal I'm referring to is one of the best pitchers in the state, and I believe I was told Saturday she can hit 65 miles an hour.
That's got to be just as painful for a catcher as a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That big brick coming at you.
Plus, you're so much closer than on a baseball diamond. Because I don't know. Do you know what the distance is, Rook?
No,
from
I don't.
The mound to the plate?
I don't.
Because it's obviously 60 feet, 6 inches in baseball, and it's much closer in fast pitch.
Would somebody please explain to me why we need Title IX to protect female athletes, to ensure female athletes
Well, we've been
a chance
asking
to play?
that for years. Yeah,
What is the point of this?
How come? How come they never answer that question?
You're not offering girls, and this is the equity crowd, they're not offering girls equal treatment and opportunity, which violates Title IX's provisions. So therefore, why does Title IX exist?
Fast pitch pitching distance is 35 feet for 10U, 40 feet for 12U, and 13U and up is 43 feet.
What's the U, under?
Yes.
The word under?
Yes.
The Title IX thing is a law, is it not?
Title IX is a federal law, yes.
So let's
from about
just,
the mid-70s.
We're breaking the law and celebrating it, and nobody's enforcing it.
Ellison, Cockwomble, the Mysterians in the legislature, they're all in favor of Marissa pitching for Champlain Park. The hell with the girls who cannot hit her. 18. There's your solving right there. 18. You want to change and go from Charlie to Marissa? Wait till you're 18. By then, you'll still either do it or you'll have changed your mind.
Yep.
But that's criminal to do that to a... Because a lot of high school girls softball teams are going to have some talent on the team that, isn't... What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
That are really going to be overwhelmed by a male pitching to them. Really overwhelmed. The kid I'm talking about is going to hang in there and try to swing at it, but she's not going to be overwhelmed. Well, yeah, she'll be overwhelmed. I saw a video of this kid pitching. Maurer couldn't hit him.
All right, Joe. Calm down.
I remember in high school, the baseball team went to go try to hit against the girls' fast pitch, and there was 4 of us that just couldn't touch it because it's just completely, we couldn't hit her.
Well, you're completely undoing my case. You're completely undoing what
No,
I
it was
just
a
said.
girl pitching to guys.
Right. And he's
Yeah.
saying they can't hit her. So then what difference does it make if Marissa pitches to the girls?
I think your hat is on backwards, Joe.
What happened?
Somebody's head's on wrong.
Me.
Only because.
We can't leave it like this.
Tune in tomorrow.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
His story was about guys not being able to hit a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about girls not being able to hit a guy.
2 different things.
But if you go by
Not undoing your story, Joe.
But if you go by the Reavers' cockeyed view of this, if the men can't hit...
No, here, I can help you. I can help you.
If the men... Yes?
If a bat and a ball costs $1.10,
Yeah, that's where
I'll
we
never
are.
get that one.
and the bat is $1
never
more
get
than the
that one.
ball.
I will never get that.
10 cents.
Nope.
Nickel.
Third
That's right.
base.
No.
The
It
bat's
doesn't make
$1.05.
sense. It doesn't make
$1.05.
sense.
The bat's
It'd be
$1.05,
$1.05.
and the baseball's a nickel. See?
Blue paint.
No, I don't see.
No,
I will never see it.
It's $1 more than the baseball.
And it's $1. How much did you spend?
$1.10.
It's $1 more than the baseball?
Yes.
And the baseball's 10 cents.
5 cents.
John, do you want that breaking news in before we go?
How is it 5 cents? That doesn't make sense.
You're right. Tune in tomorrow.
John has some breaking news.
Oh, no.
Art Thompson, not Art. What's his first name?
Joe.
Joe Thompson has been named the attorney for Minnesota. And he prosecuted many things over the years, including the food for fraud.
Good.
The original trials for that, and many other things. I don't have it in front of me, but he's definitely somebody who should be in the spot.
No nonsense.
Good.
He's a no nonsense guy.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Only because
isn't that just a shame that that's just our basic expectation level?
You know,
he's gonna go after crime.
What do you think he would say about the whole $1.10 baseball?
Give me the question again, Chris.
Give me the question. Is what he'd say.
You're going to a thrift shop.
Yep.
And you're going to spend $1.10.
Yep.
You're going to buy a baseball bat and a baseball. The baseball bat costs $1 more than the baseball. What is each item? What is the price of each item?
The bat's $1. The ball's 10 cents.
Boom. We're
that's
done.
90
Thanks,
cents more.
That's
90 cents.
Not
That's 90 cents more, not $1 more.
So all you have to do is put $1 in front of whatever's in front of the cost of the baseball.
$1.05.
This is Joe. This is why I've got $100 in my checking account right now. This right here.
But you think it's $105.
Yeah.
This is why I want to get a tank of gas, but I got to wait till Thursday.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us all the way from the bat costs $1 more than the baseball.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Correct. $1.05 and 5 cents. $1 more.
He's being more confused rather than less confused.
Then the bat costs $1.05.
There you go.
You just got that? Good job.
Is that the answer?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and the ball costs a nickel. $1.10
You don't have
total.
it. I can see it in your eyes, Joe. You do not have it.
That
You're
means
just
that-
agreeing to agree.
No, that means then the bat costs $1.05.
Right.
And that's $1.05 more than the baseball.
No, because the baseball costs a nickel.
5 cents. Jeez.
Stay on my team, Joe. I need
What's
to.
$1.05 minus 5 cents, Joe? What does that equal?
$1.
For the final answer to this question, let's go to Mr. D- for his summation.
He
Matthew?
gets it.
I never played baseball, so I wouldn't know.
Well, you could ask, is it a right-handed bat or a left-handed bat?
Yeah, what hand is it?
Blue paint.
Only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans who are recessing in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It was on this day.
Joe, today is June 2nd already.
You know, Minnesotans didn't do much on these lazy summer days. It was on this day,
on June 2nd,
in 1938, that St. Paul's founder, Pierre Perrant, built the city's first structure known as the Whiskey Seller's Cabin in Fountain Cave. He was nicknamed Pig's Eye because one of his eyes was surrounded by a whitish ring.
Gross.
Wait a minute. Pig's Eye was a guy?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
Perrant had been expelled from Fort Snelling for selling liquor. The name was also applied to the community when people began having their mail sent to Pig's Eye. At Father Lucian Galtier's suggestion, the town was changed to St. Paul on November 1, 1849.
Wasn't the Pig's Eye beer the beer of choice that you loaded up in the governor's Suburban?
Yeah, that was the Pig's Eye Perrant. I don't know. Look, just go ask him for a case.
How's that compared to like Hovenstein?
I don't know. On this day,
June 2nd.
In 1924, Congress passed a law extending citizenship to all Native Americans in the U.S.
Yay.
On this day in sports disappointment history.
June 2nd.
This was a good one. June 2nd, 1968. Halsey Hall's cigar lit the Chicago press box on fire. And on this day...
Oh, boy, that's funny. June 2nd.
1982. The Twins lost Their 14th in a row.
Ooh.
That's a sports disappointment, isn't it?
That's not a good way to open up the dome.
Well, 14 losses in a row was achieved on June 2nd, 1982.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, GLers.
Yes. Hey, you heard about YouTube, right? How about you subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel? Yeah. On that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, unless they flag one of our videos, of course. But you can see that online right at noon every day on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. And you can see full segments. There's video shorts. There's behind-the-scenes footage. It's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube. And
don't forget about going to GarageLogic.com before Friday, June 6th. Enter keyword partner for the wonderful summer online auction participation.
And if you have any more questions about that auction, email Joe at GarageLogic.com. Anyway, yes, sir.